Ladies and gentlemen, pain is such an integral part of life that try as hard as we may, we just cannot escape.
If you're in your comfort zone all day long, you hate your life. Rise and shine, it's espresso time.
I wake up every morning.
Espresso keep me going.
I wake up every morning.
So let's start your day off right together. Grab your coffee and sip on today's message from Gaur Gopal Das.
Have any of you tried doing exercise, like a gym workout or jogging, and have realized that physical activity is painful? Have any of you as school or college students worked hard to get good grades and have realized that studying hard is painful? Ladies and gentlemen, pain is such an integral part of life that try as hard as we may, we just cannot escape. But we have a choice to accept the right kind of pain that initially hurts, but eventually heals. That initially is uncomfortable, but eventually unleashes our true potential. That initially we want to avoid, but eventually very happily accept. Or the wrong kind of pain, where the beginning is so much pleasure, but at the end, life is just a pity. Where in the beginning, you're so mesmerized, but at the end, just a royal mess. Where in the beginning, things are so comfortable, but at the end, endlessly complex. The pain of exercise or the pain of disease. Which one will you choose?
You don't want an easy life. You don't want to sit on the beach and just be served drinks all day long. That might sound appealing right now if you hate your life, but it's not what you actually want. You want to do difficult things. Your self-confidence, self-respect, self-esteem comes from doing difficult things. You want to be on a hero. You want to be on a journey. You want to make an impact. All of the heroes that you look up to right now, look at where they came from, look at the journey they went on. They suffered a lot of pain to get there. You want to follow a similar road. So don't hate the pain. Recognize it for what it is, your chance to show yourself and the world what you're made of. So I recently came back from doing my tour, 23 cities, 90 days, and I broke my neck along the way, and thank you everybody for the warm wishes, and having you guys in my back pocket sending me all the love every day was super helpful, and I appreciate you. And so many people saw me doing what I was doing with this giant neck brace on, with this huge, cut and scar across my forehead. Is it this side? Yeah, this side. There's still a little bit of a scar right there. They saw that and they said, man, you're so inspiring. I see you in the hospital still doing a live stream, and I am telling myself some BS excuse as to why I can't get up and go to work. And that's amazing, and that's uplifting, but the real reason why I did it, why I kept going, wasn't to try to be an inspiration to everybody watching. It was to be an inspiration to myself. It was to show myself what I could do, is that I'm in pain every day. At the beginning, I had this crazy concussion, but then once that subsided, I still had pain. I'm still in pain. This is months later, and I'm still in pain. I'm still recovering. I'm still going through rehab. Just that hurts like so much. It's crazy. I'm still in pain, but I want to make myself proud. I want to be an inspiration to myself, because when you do difficult things and you get through it, that's how you build self-love. Not by taking it easy and only doing the things that are within your comfort zone. If you're in your comfort zone all day long, you hate your life. It means that you're setting tiny goals for yourself that you know you're going to accomplish, and you're basically just photocopying your life. Every day is the same, and it's all inside your comfort zone. That's not what humans are built to do. You want to grow. You're a hero. You want to go on a journey. You want to do amazing things. You want to help others. And as you help others, as you grow, as you get through the pain, what you're able to do is help somebody up. You're on this staircase. I see that's a staircase, okay? Stay with me. You're climbing this staircase, and you don't want the staircase to end. You want there to be more challenges. You want there to be more pain ahead. You do. Because as you climb that staircase, guess what you're going to do? You're going to look down behind you and pull the people up. The people who are also on that same journey with you. You're going to make it easy for them. You're going to offer them a helping hand. You're going to show them that it's possible. You're going to give them hope, belief, support. That's going to be you. But unless you start climbing the staircase, you're never going to help the people. You're never going to help anybody else. You can only help somebody to the extent that you have gone through it yourself. If you haven't gone through anything yourself, you've never tried anything difficult, you're not going to help anybody. There's going to be this tiny little group of people who you will ever be able to help because you're not exposing yourself, because you're not trying, because you're not taking on difficult things. And so you don't want to hate the pain. I can't tell you how many times on my trip with my broken neck, I said, this is the best. I'm so pumped. This is crazy. This is the best. I've never felt so much physical pain in my life. I've had a lot of emotional pain, but I've never felt physical pain. I've never broken anything in my life. Never broken a bone in my body. Well, my pinky toe. It doesn't really count. I've never broken anything. I've never been in a cast. So the first thing that I break is my neck in 2 spots. It's crazy. And I was pumped because yes, this is my chance to see what I'm actually made of. And coming out of this, growing through it, surviving my way through it, I'm gonna emerge a different human. I'm gonna come out stronger. I'm gonna be better. And as I do that, I'm gonna be able to help pull other people up as well. You create a purpose from your pain. Because ultimately, everybody wants to serve. But you can't serve if you're not going through difficult things. You can't serve if you haven't been through something. Now you may be thinking that I'm a crazy person, and I think that's awesome. I think you should have some of this crazy. I think you need some of this crazy in your life. I think you need to become a little bit crazy. Otherwise, what? Otherwise, you're just complaining. Some pain is happening to you. What's your option? Either say this is the best and I'm gonna learn and grow from it and become amazing and help others, or you sit there and say this sucks and you're stuck in the land of complaining. That's where most people are. That's most of the world. And so I love being crazy and different and optimistic, and I wanna sprinkle some of that dust on you so you can join me on this crazy ride too. So I'm gonna give you a 3-step process to follow that I think will help. Step number 1 is, what's a big pain in your life? Think about a big pain that you have going on right now. What are you complaining about? What are you struggling with? What's this big pain that seems impossible, overwhelming? You're never gonna get over it, or it's all encompassing. What is that pain for you right now? The good thing about entrepreneurship is there's always some kind of pain happening in our business. So what's the number 1 pain for you right now? Number 2 is think, how is this the best? The best. How can you be insanely grateful for this pain? How are you gonna grow through this? How is this your chance to show yourself what you're made of? We very rarely get chances and opportunities to show yourself because you won't put yourself in harm's way. You won't push yourself to the edge. You won't. You just won't, because as humans, our survival instinct kicks in. You won't push yourself to the very edge. And so you're here. You've been forced here. Something happened. Something in your industry. Something with your parents. Something happened that you're here at the edge. This is the best. Because as you push through that edge, now there's a new edge. You've just grown. That discomfort allowed you as a human to get better. And so this big pain that you're suffering with right now, why is it the best? And step number 3 is remind yourself of who are you going to help once you defeat it. Once you get over this big fear, once you get through this big pain, this giant obstacle that is all encompassing, if you don't get through it, if you don't summon the courage and get through it, then you'll be stuck in the land of resourcelessness and complaining and anger and resentment and regret like most of the world. But if you get through it, you muscle through. You do the difficult thing that other people are not willing to do. Other people in your circumstance, whatever you're facing right now, lots of people would say, hey, don't worry about it. Don't do it. Back off. You've already given so much. Stop. Quit. Just relax. Take it easy. Chill. Right? That's what most people would tell you because they have low standards for themselves. When you break through that, think about all the people you're going to help. Think about the people you're going to lift up. Think about it. Imagine it. You're going to break through this thing, and then you can help tens or hundreds or thousands or hundreds of thousands of people break through the same thing yourself. Quick side note on that. I'll go weird duck on you for a little bit here. When I'm in a conversation and we're saying goodbye and somebody says, hey, take it easy, don't tell me that. It doesn't mean that I'm hustling my face off all the time, but I want to live an intentional life. I don't want an easy life. And you don't either. So I catch people. And the next time they say, take it easy, and they say something else, something that they're proud of saying. So you gotta watch your language. Watch how you talk to others, watch how you talk to yourself. It makes a big difference.
Now I've got a really special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I wanna know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? The science says that when you just watch a video, you get motivated, you get inspired, you have a 35% chance of following through on your goals. 35%! That's not enough! That's not enough just to get motivated. Believe Nation, we're here, you're here. Today matters, you're an action taker. When you commit to a plan of action of when and how you're gonna follow through, when you write it down, you have a 91% chance of following through. And when you commit publicly to somebody else, it jumps to 95% chance. From 30-something% to 95% chance of you following through. Believe Nation, we need to make this happen. So question of the day, your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action specific for the next week. Put it down in the comments below, and I'm gonna show on screen sometime next week to celebrate you. Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, I've designed a special free training to help you do it. The science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action to build a new habit. And I want that for you. I want you to build the habit of self-belief. So what I'm going to do is email you every day for 254 days a link to an unlisted video that will shift your belief forward. To get on it for free, the link to join is in the description below.
It's easy to make a buck, very hard to make a difference. And whenever you're updating to a higher version of yourself, you have to be able to give the best of yourself to it. No one on planet Earth can stop you from accomplishing and achieving what you want. I have been a non-conformist. You know, you cannot do anything substantial if you're a conformist. The greatest killer of your personal, spiritual, professional growth is conformism.
Can you make that simpler for the listeners?
Yeah. The greatest killer of our growth is to give in to what society thinks you should be doing. There are social standards of what you should be doing. Socially, it's cool to have a job or a business and start it this way and have a home in a certain place, have a certain car, wear a certain kind of clothes, have a certain kind of hairstyle. And we give in to it because we want to be socially accepted. Look, I'm not saying we shouldn't fulfill our parents' dreams. They're the most amazing people. They gave birth to us. They grew us up. They did so much for us. And we have that I hate to use the word duty, but I will still use it. Duty out of our genuine love and gratitude. To serve them, and their emotional support, their love will always be there for us. But trust me, even if you assume that we have to spend like about 8 hours at work daily, it's a very conservative number actually, to spend way more than that. But even if you have to spend like 8 hours at work daily and you're working 5 days a week, that's 40 hours at work a week. And assuming you take 2 weeks of holiday every year, that's 50 weeks working, that makes 2,000 hours of yours at work. Assuming you work for about 45 years, that's 90,000 hours of your life at work. Now that's a daunting number, right? The average is about 10 years of your life. I'm really not sure if I just conform and give in to what's socially acceptable or what my family wants. 90,000 hours of dissatisfaction, 90,000 hours of cribbing and complaining that I hate it, I don't like it, this is not what I wanted to do, or what to do, this is what trends, this is what pays, this is what my parents wanted. Conformism. Conformism will take away two things from me. A, my satisfaction. 90,000 hours. Just because it's paying me more, should I be miserable for those 90,000 hours? And the second thing is you can never achieve excellence. Excellence only comes when you do something that truly resonates with your soul, you know? So for me, I said, no, man. HP, yes, I'm okay. I'm good at doing it. I was good, very decently good at my work, but it's not fulfilling me, you know? And I don't suggest people take a risk like me. Definitely don't.
I usually tell people that you have a mainstream something through which you earn and then follow your passion side by side so that there's no risks involved, calculated risks. And then when this takes over and grows, then chuck this out and make this as your main thing. Well, my system didn't allow me to do that, take that calculated risk. I just took the plunge and jumped in and said, no, I'm not going to do this if it doesn't really kind of resonate with my soul. Do you know something? In the game of life, you're playing a cricket match against an entity called the mind. No one on planet Earth can stop you from accomplishing and achieving what you want if you can bat against the googlies that the mind bowls at you. How many of you have experienced that the mind bowls googlies? Good. When it comes to exercising and jogging, how many of you know that the mind bowls googlies? Majja. Soja. How many of you have trouble in studying? Raise your hands as students. My God. And you come here, you hear all of these things. Don't get distracted by WhatsApp. Don't get distracted by internet pornography. Don't get distracted by Twitter. Don't get distracted by Facebook. Study. Don't get distracted by birds to do bird watching. Study. All these distractions. इधर आके कुछ उपदेश देते हैं कुछ लोग साधु लोग आपको. उस पे बाद भी फेल होता है. So one father was telling his son, देख तेरे क्लास में वो लूसी है ना, लूसी देख फर्स्ट आई है वो, और तू नालायक फेल हो गया. वो बोला देख के ही फेल हो गया मैं उसको. देख के ही तो फेल हुआ मैं उसको. I'll tell you something. My God. Why? Because the mind doesn't want you to win the game of life. How many of you wanted to wake up early in the morning? Raise your hands. Only wanted, I asked. Wanted to wake up early in the morning. And how many of you have done something called as setting an alarm clock? And then after setting the alarm clock, that's an alarm. Whether you want it or not, it rings. And when it rings, the mind puts its first googly. What does the mind do? By putting the googly, makes you clean bowled when you do the first snooze. You are out. You are out. If you snooze, you are out. I want to say one thing. Just one. And probably this will change the direction of your life. You know something? When you snooze the alarm, what happens? You decide to give in to the mind's ball. And this is how your morning begins. By giving in to the mind. सवेरे की शुरुआत होती है इस बॉलर से क्लीन बोल्ड होके. आगे क्या मैच जीतेंगे? ये तो दिन की शुरुआत है. By giving in. And it's no problem giving in. Sleeping 5 minutes extra is no problem. The problem is you develop the attitude of giving in. You tell yourself that what I decided last night is not as important. What is important is what the mind says. Because we listen. I'll tell you something, my humble advice. Because it's not just about getting up in the morning, it's about every aspect of life. Whether it's your work, if you're working, whether it's your study, if you're studying, whatever we do. The problem is, it's not about one thing. Sabere ho gaya na, it reflects in every area of life. इसलिए मैं कहता हूँ, अगर 4 बजे नहीं उठना, मालूम है ना अपने से नहीं होता, 4:20 का अलार्म लगाओ, लेकिन 4:20 को उठो. Don't allow that snooze. There is a concept called sledging in cricket, where the opponent team comes and gives gali to the batsman. Gali, they try to distract them and take their focus away. One thing that Sachin is adored for in the history of cricket is sledging hasn't bothered him. This man is cool. Are you cool? When people do sledging against you in the game of life, are you cool? Or you lose your cool? There will always be people who are out of control. Can you stop a guy from criticizing you? Can you stop an opponent team from sledging? कुछ नहीं कर सकते. Are situations in your control many times? No. The guy who was batting was expecting an in-swing ball. And that's what the bowler bowled. And one gush of wind, an in-swing becomes an outswing. And is caught out. Lot of things, situations, people are just out of our control. How many of you think question paper is in your control? And when things go wild, I'll tell you what happens with us. This is what happens with us. You know? This is what happens with us, see? See how it foams up? We react. The stimulus of a person sledging against us, criticizing, pulling us down, envious of us, conspiring, politicking, makes us react and foam out. We start reacting also. Question is, do you want to be a 7-Up can or a Oxycool bottle of water? And I'm sure a lot of us would say, Prabhu ji, हमको तो दूसरा कुछ सोचता ही नहीं है प्रभु जी. And thus, in our life, we will always have a stimulus, and we can choose to respond because between the stimulus and response is our choice. A great personality is not born in the maternity ward. A great personality is born by the choices that one makes. And therefore, when there are all kinds of stimuli, we have to learn how to respond. If we are not strong spiritually, it is impossible. If we are not strong culturally, it is impossible. All this sounds great and good, and we know, yes, I want to do it. I can't be a can of soda. I want to be a water bottle. But is it so easy? No. That is why coming here is so important. That is why these foundational ethics of spirituality are so crucial in this age. As all of you are going to be successful in your own areas of life, if not cricket per se. And thus, we have to learn how to respond. What is the most selfish one-lettered word? I, isn't it? Everything revolves around I. iPhone, iPad, iPod, and the man says, I paid. What do you do? Everything revolves around the I. And what does I stand for? I stands for expectations. I should be treated like this. I should be loved like this. I should be dealt with like this. I should be respected like this. I should be given these many marks. I should not be given this. You're all leading a life of super high expectations. Everything revolves around my opinions, my desires, my likes, my dislikes. I love this, I want this, I don't want this. I. You think life will be a very happy life when it revolves around I? From our childhood, we have grown up like this. We've only learned to take, and everyone has to fulfill my expectations. Everything has to be up to my expectations. Therefore, when people come to God, people come to a temple also, they're only asking, give me what I want. No one comes to say, I love you, I want to give you. When the President of the United States, John F. Kennedy, came up to his stage for his first presidential speech, his voice rumbled into the public address system when he said, ask not what the country can do for you. Ask what you can do for the country. And so we are saying, ask not what God can do for you. Ask what you can do for God. But no one asks that. Because the I is so big, my expectations, my desires, my things are so powerful that even when I come to a temple and ring a bell, all I'm doing is asking. The more we lead a life of I, our I will always be frustrated. Because people don't exist in this world to just fulfill your expectations. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, the most selfish one-lettered word is I, which stands for expectations, and therefore avoid this word. How do you avoid this word? Be realistic in your expectations. अपेक्षाएं करने में कोई problem नहीं है, but understand that not everyone will fulfill your expectation. And secondly, avoid this word I by trying to serve others. You know why? Because when you want to be served, you're dependent on people. They may not serve you. When you want to serve, who can stop you? When you want respect, people may not respect you. But when you want to give respect, who can stop you? When you want to be loved, you may not be loved. But when you want to give love, who can stop you? When you want in charity, people may not give you in charity. But when you want to give charity, who can stop you? And therefore, learn to begin your journey from I to you. The more you want for yourself, you'll remain frustrated. The more you want to give, you will remain happy. When you want to achieve success in your career, in your academics, in your business, in your profession, we will fail. And that's the example of the giraffe. When the baby giraffe is born, falls from such a high distance straight on the ground, the mother positions herself right above the baby giraffe. And guess what she does first? Gives it a hard kick. बच्चे का जन्म होता है और माँ आके खाट से लात मारती है. तो बच्चा समझता नहीं अभी तो आया है जिंदगी में, मतलब लात मारे, कौन लात मारा, लात का मतलब क्या है मालूम नहीं उसको. अचानक एक झटका मिलता है उसको. So as it just coming out of that impact, झटका, the mother gives a second harder kick. Now the guy understands. अगर मैं कुछ किया नहीं तो ये चलता रहेगा सिलसिला. So this baby giraffe starts getting up on its wobbly legs, you know, on its wobbly legs. And as the baby giraffe gets up on the wobbly leg, थोड़ा खड़ा होकर, खड़ा होना सीखा ना, फैड एक और लात मारती है माँ. फिर गिर के he gets up and starts running. And then the mother giraffe goes, hugs the baby and starts kissing the baby. You know why? Because the baby giraffe's flesh is very soft and supple, and hyenas and lions love it. The mother knows that I can't be with the baby giraffe all the time. I have to go and get food for the baby. How would I protect it? इसलिए पहले ही एक ऐसी लात मारो कि ये उठना सीखे. और फिर जैसे थोड़ा उठा ना, तो एक और लात मारो, तो याद रहे और फिर उठना सीखे. जिंदगी भी माँ मदर जिराफ जैसी है. कई बार लात मारती है. We fail. We should get up. And we'll fail again. We should get up. And like I always say, don't just go through life. Grow through life.
It's quite amazing, isn't it? That when something's stuck in our tooth, the tongue just keeps going to that tooth. Until unless that stuff is out of our tooth, it just keeps going there. Now, there's 31 other teeth in our mouth. When nothing's stuck, the tongue can go there and say, hey, wow, look, there's nothing stuck here. Go to one of the other tooth where there's nothing stuck and say, hey, look, amazing, there's nothing stuck here. But just the nature of the tongue that it keeps going to where something is stuck. And surely, we have to deal with it. Whenever I travel in my handbag, I always have dental floss and a box of toothpicks with me. Just in case something is stuck, I have to take it out. Certainly, we have to deal with it. At the same time, there's a lot of other good things that we can focus on. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not just the nature of the tongue. Isn't it the nature of the mind as well? When there is a problem, an issue stuck in a certain area of our life, the mind keeps going to that problem and just gets stuck into the negativity of trying to deal with it. But there's 31, or shall I say many, many more, good things happening in so many different areas of our life where there's no problems, no issues stuck. Yet, the mind only keeps going to those areas where there are problems. It is necessary, therefore, for all of us that we focus on the good that is happening in our life and deal with the bad or the problems that are happening in our life. Let us not consume our minds with negativity. Let us consume our minds with positivity. Focus on the positive and deal with the negative.
Most often, if not always, our lives seem to be out of balance. And when lives are out of balance, it makes us very irritable. You know, when we drive a car, we always drive a car and a car has four wheels. And these four wheels in the car of life represent, first wheel, your personal life, your health, your mind, yourself, the things that you love to do, the things that you would want to do, not have to do. Most times we live a life of have to do. I have to study, I have to work, I have to pay my bills, I have to pay the taxes, I have to do this and I have to do that. I have to go for this social function. I don't have a choice. I have to. Where did the love to go? We just end up living a life of have tos and have forgot about our own selves. By subscribing to the pressures that come from all fronts in our lives, we've forgotten to live our own lives. We don't have time to unwind. We don't have time to spend with our own selves. We don't have time to be with nature and take a deep breath and just relish the crispness of the air. We don't have the time to do all of that, especially in a metropolitan city like this. When the pressures are so high and the pace is so fast, we just don't have time for ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. And that's one car, one wheel of our car, isn't it? Personal life. Our health, for instance. Such an important thing. But at the cost of just running, we forget to pay attention to our own health. The second wheel of the car is family life. Demands attention, isn't it? Your personal life demands attention. Your family life demands attention, isn't it? Before marriage, when you are in love, they call it a crush, isn't it? But after marriage, all that is left is Candy Crush. All the crushes are gone and all that you're left with is a Candy Crush. Just keep playing Candy Crush. And all the headaches coming from all the pressures. One lady went to a doctor and the doctor said, "How's your headache, madam?" She said, "He's out of town." Gosh, I must tell you, it demands a lot of attention. Your personal life, the first tire, do you have one? Do you have a personal life is my question. Do you have time for your health? Even in my hectic schedule, I have made 5 days of exercise here still. In all the lectures and all the talks and everywhere I go, because that's what's going to keep me going. I have to give time to myself because I don't get more than 3.5 to 4 hours of sleep. So if I don't look at my physical fitness, I'm gone. Ladies and gentlemen, do you give time for yourself? Do you have time for yourself, your personal time? Or is that wheel out of balance? Is it a flat tire? The third wheel, tire of the car of life is your professional life. Your personal life needs attention. Your family life needs attention. Your professional life needs attention. And the fourth is your social life. Your friends. People around you, your colleagues. Those relationships that matter a lot to you. Those people who would support you in time of need. Because to your spouses, to your family, you could speak a little. Sometimes certain things are not always confided with just blood relationships. You need that social side. People to whom you can speak. Open up your heart. How often do we just carry this baggage of stress and load, anxiety and worry in our heads? Lugging it all around as baggage. There's a social side to our life. Our friends. I've had those moments where I've snapped, even as a monk, because I'm a human being. Just because I put these robes of a monk doesn't mean I've become, a celestial angel. I'm still a human being. When one of those tires is out of order, if I haven't slept well, if my health is out of place, I'm going to snap out. You carry work pressures at home, you carry home pressures at work, Irritability is a symptom of an out of balance life. Stability in our responses is a symptom of a life in balance. We are irritable, we snap, we react at the drop of a hat for trivia just because we are out of balance. People who have a balanced life know how to handle pressure. People whose lives are not balanced sink under pressure and get so irritable at little things, they just kind of snap off. I'm actually a camera shy person, believe it or not. You know, when people shoot me and they just post some clips, that's fine with me. But talking to a camera, it's a machine. It's just some electronic machine. The camera doesn't laugh. The camera doesn't cry. The camera doesn't have any interpersonal reciprocations and dealings. And I must tell you, I felt very nervous. In fact, a little fearful as well to speak into a camera. It was more a fear of failure, I would say, because, you know, when you speak into a camera and if it's relayed and it's put online, how do people see it? Otherwise, when I'm with people, people have seen me speak. And I decided, when the motive is to serve and contribute, we have to face our fears. We have to deal with our fears, face them, and rise above them. At some point of time, I had to decide to come and speak. So one day I decided, that's it. I have to come, speak in front of the camera. The first time I did it, believe me, we will post that video once. You must see me speaking there. Stiff, expressionless, motionless, stoic, nonchalant face, you know. And I guess I'm kind of slowly getting better. Because in order to deal with these fears, you have to face them. It's a beautiful slide. When followed in life, I guarantee you, life will be different. I guarantee you, if this is applied in life, we can have peaceful night's sleep. Here it is. Do you have a problem in life? No? Then why worry? Do you have a problem in life? Yes. Can you do something about it? Yes. Then why worry? Do you have a problem in life? Yes. Can you do something about it? No. Then why worry? In the journey of life as well, the takeoff, which is our birth, is completely beyond our control. We didn't choose our parents. We didn't choose which nation we were born in. We didn't choose which city we were born in. We didn't choose our socio-economic class we were born in. We didn't choose our looks. We didn't choose the religion we were born in. Our takeoff of the journey of life was completely beyond us. And the landing, death, even that will be completely beyond us. I've heard many times people telling me that they would just love to die by getting a massive heart attack and dropping dead, no trouble for them, no hospitalization, no tubes, no needles, no trouble caused to others. In one shot, go. Now, no matter how much we might wish that, it's just beyond us. How we go and how the landing happens is completely beyond us. And what about the turbulence, the disturbances, the problems during the journey of our life? Some of them are within our control, which we can solve. But many problems and issues and the turbulence caused is completely beyond our control because it's caused by situations which are beyond us. It's caused by people who are beyond us. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, in this journey of life, the takeoff, the landing, and the turbulence is not in our control. What is in our control, however, is the choices we can make. And therefore, spirituality is about learning how to make those right choices. When we learn to make those right choices, we learn to live a transformed, happy, fulfilled life despite all the turbulence and problems that are going on around us. It is said, when we are beautiful, it's God's gift to us. When we live our life beautiful, It is our gift to God. Therefore, being a male is a matter of birth. Being a man is a matter of age. Being a gentleman is a matter of choice. And as a corollary to that, being a female is a matter of birth. Being a woman is a matter of age. Being a gentlewoman is a matter of choice. Let us all take to spiritual wisdom, learn to make the right choices which are within our control as our gift to God, and thus live our lives as thorough and perfect, ladies and gentlemen. A lady asked me after the session, in the Q&A session, "Sir, you said that you were an electrical engineer. Why did you give up your career as an electrical engineer?" I said, "Madam, I didn't give up my career as an electrical engineer. I upgraded my career from being an electrical engineer to a lifestyle engineer." And I said to her, each of us, based on our particular faculties of knowledge, should be contributing to the world's solutions to problems. Engineering is all about offering solutions to problems. All engineers are offering solutions to problems. All bodies of knowledge offering solutions to problems. And I thought mine is one, offering solutions to problems related to lifestyle. There are 4 things that we can never recover in our life. A stone, after it has been thrown into the valley. Words, after they have been spoken. An opportunity, once it is missed. And time, once it has gone. Considering the average lifespan of a human being today to be about 70 years, 70 multiplied by 12 is 840. Now that's how many months we have in our life to live in this world. And if life is represented by a jar and those 840 months by the marbles in the jar, every year 12 marbles are being thrown out of the jar. Last year 12 marbles have gone as well. Gone forever, never to come back again. Look at how many marbles you now have in the jar to make a difference, to leave a mark, to stand apart. Utilize your time well, and your time will treat you well, leading you into an overall sense of well-being. In the new year to come, invest in taking care of your body. Invest in nurturing and nourishing your relationships. Invest in finding and discovering your purpose, your passion, your calling in order to enhance your professional growth. Invest in pursuing and cultivating a meaningful, deep spiritual connect. And for some reason, if you found yourself stuck in any of these, some of these, or all of these areas in the last year, the new year brings a fresh opportunity to press the refresh button, refresh the page of your life, and live well. Because at the end of the day, remember, we are all just stories. And make sure that yours is an inspiring one. Thomas Alva Edison once made a very nice statement. He said, "Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration." We may have an inspiration in our heart, that 1% strong, burning inferno of an inspiration. But unless that inspiration is put into action, dedicated, committed, hard work, that 99% perspiration, we are not going to be able to achieve what we want to achieve. And so also, when we talk about dealing with our bad habits, success is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. We need that inspiration, but based on the foundation of that inspiration, we have to put in dedicated, committed, hard work. That 99% perspiration. What's amazing is that 99% perspiration is based on the foundation of that 1% inspiration.
If the foundation of a building is in place, the very first thing that we make when it comes to building a structure, a house, a beautiful edifice or a mansion, is we put the foundation in place. If the foundation is in place, if it's strong and robust, then all the building blocks, the bricks, the cement, the mortar, the steel can go on and form a beautiful structure for us to live in, for us to dwell in. And so also, that 1% inspiration is the foundation of that 99% perspiration. Imagine if you're very inspired to change, if you're very inspired to give up some of your bad habits, but you don't put that hard work, that 99% perspiration, what good is that inspiration? Or imagine if you keep putting 99% of perspiration, that hard work, that effort, that dedicated commitment, but if you don't have that inspiration to do it in the right direction and sustain it and get it a higher shelf life, what good is that hard work and perspiration? Therefore, success comes by a balance of the two. Inspiration, which acts as the foundation, and perspiration, which acts as the building blocks to build upon that foundation. I once read a very interesting Japanese proverb. It said, action without vision is a nightmare. If you simply keep acting without having the right vision, the result is a nightmare. And it said, vision without action is a daydream. If you simply have a vision and you don't act upon it, all you have as a result is a daydream. I have rephrased it for our discussion here today. Perspiration without inspiration is a nightmare. But inspiration without perspiration is a daydream. Reflection that I want to offer to all of you this morning is, get consumed by the positive energy. Focus not on your bad habits. Get consumed not by the negative energy of your bad habits. Sometimes we just get so consumed by it that all that's playing on our mind is that. No, that's meant to be dealt with. Focus on the good things that are happening in your life. And to focus on the good things and be grateful doesn't happen automatically. It's not our default setting. Our default setting is to go towards the negative. Our default setting is to focus on the negative. We have to customize our lives by being consciously aware. We have to become more mindful and conscious of the wonderful gifts, the wonderful opportunities, the wonderful blessings that we've been showered with. And with that positive energy, with that positive emotion of gratitude, feel tremendously empowered to deal with our bad habits, to deal with our challenges. And therefore, do not be hateful about what you're going through in life. Be grateful for all those wonderful gifts that you've been given in your life. I feel challenges are such an integral part of growth in our life. For example, a teacher will always pose higher and higher challenges to the students. Why? Because the teacher wants the student to grow in his or her understanding of the subject. Mathematics, for instance. What's mathematics in kindergarten and primary school, in secondary school, in university is different. Why? Because the challenge level goes on increasing. And the higher the challenge, and in a better way we are able to crack it, we simply grow deeper in our understanding of the subject. There is no meaning to life without a challenge. And the symptom of greatness is to accept that challenge in a very sportive spirit and learn how to grow deeper in whatever we are doing. When you write, you will most certainly end up making mistakes. What's truly great is that right behind you is attached an eraser, and you can actually correct that mistake and once again write the right thing. Ladies and gentlemen, even in our lives, we make so many mistakes. And what's amazing is God has given us the opportunity, the chance to erase them, to correct them, and to rewrite our stories. We all make mistakes. I remember I once went for a program and a gentleman came to me and said, Prabhuji, I'm your fan. I said, why? He said, your talks are really inspiring, especially the jokes. I said, what about the points, man? He said, the points are good, but the jokes are great. I said to him, come on, all the jokes are only meant to really pass on the message and drive home the point. And just as we were talking, a little boy came running and I said, your son, right? He said, yeah. And just following the boy came a lady. I said, your daughter, right? And the man turned blue. And the lady was like all smiles, a ear-to-ear smile, because she was not his daughter. She was actually his wife. The guy turned to his wife and said, प्रभु जी को ज़्यादा seriously नहीं लेने का, उनको jokes मारने का बहुत आदत है. Oh my God, I realized God had made a big mistake there by asking if it was his daughter when she was actually his wife. We all make mistakes. Now, anyone who comes to me with people around, I never ask whether this is your son or daughter or wife or father or mother. I just ask, can you kindly introduce me to everyone, please? Simple, isn't it? Yes, we make mistakes. We should learn from those mistakes, erase them, correct them, and never repeat them. Now, the nature of success is that it gets into our heads and makes us complacent. So the first, guys, if you've been successful in keeping up with your commitment, don't let it get into your head. Don't get proud. Don't get complacent, because complacency will stop your growth. And the nature of failure is whenever we are not able to keep up with our commitments, whenever we are not able to do what we want to do, is that it gets into our heart and makes us depressed. Ladies and gentlemen, if in the last week you haven't been able to keep up with your commitments, don't worry. Don't get depressed. Don't feel guilty. That guilt, if it helps you to improve, is good. But that guilt, if it just sends you into a mental trap, that guilt is no good. In fact, I always say this. It's not about losing a particular battle. It's about winning the war. Ladies and gentlemen, every war is made of many small and tiny battles. And it's only utopia, a fantasy, an imagination to think that those who are fighting in the war will win every battle. That is impossible. Even during the Kurukshetra war, when the 5 brothers, the Pandavas, the noble ones, were fighting with their 100 cousins, the vicious ones, the Kauravas, the whole idea was about winning the war. And the Pandavas kept losing many battles during the war. Abhimanyu, Arjun's son, was killed. Ghatotkacha, Bhima's son, was killed. The 5 sons of Draupadi were killed. So many losses during that war. It's not that the Pandavas won every battle, but they were certainly victorious in the war. And during those battles, when they lost those battles, it's natural that we feel depressed. It's natural that we kind of have the tendency to give up. This is when Lord Krishna came to their rescue by always bringing their attention to the final goal, to keep their eyes focused on the final goal of winning the war. As we were mentioning earlier, I really want all of you to truly introspect. If you decided something in the last year, 2017, and did you truly work on it through the year, and where do you stand today? Throughout the day today till we meet the next morning, tomorrow at 8 o'clock, I want all of you to introspect. This one word, introspection, to see if you've actually worked on what you decided, or were you a victim of resolution, dissolution, and no solution. Ladies and gentlemen, I often say that habits are of three kinds. The first is our good habits. And when we talk about good habits, for example, saying a thank you, just as an example, or saying a sorry, being hospitable, courteous, kind is a good habit. And very often, it's just a habit though. Very often we could say a thank you or even say a sorry and not even mean it. We go into the autopilot mode, and that's why we call it a habit. It's just in the autopilot mode. We say thank you, we don't mean it. We may say a sorry, we may not mean it. And therefore, when it comes to good habits, in the year 2018, let us consciously enhance them. Not just sustain and enhance those habits, but consciously enhance those habits, which is basically, for example, we say a thank you, we mean a thank you as well. For example, if we say a sorry, we mean a sorry as well. They're good habits. And you could identify your own good habits and make sure that we do not continue them in an autopilot mode in the year 2018. So with the good habits, we don't want to be in the autopilot mode, but we want to consciously enhance the quality of those good habits as we enter the year 2018. Unless you go through sharpening what is within you will not come out. The pencil has to go through painful sharpening before the sharp lead comes out and makes an impact. Ladies and gentlemen, similarly in life, unless we go through painful sharpening, the best things within will never come out. As they say, no pains, no gains. Some of you have commented and asked me this question that all this sounds easier than done. It's easy to say these things, easy to listen to these things, but when it comes to practical implementation, application, and dealing with these things in real life, it seems very difficult. It seems very hard. But that's very true. What you've said is perfectly true. Because only the wrong things come very easy. The right things that we need to do in our life don't come that easily. You know, when we do the wrong things, they give us that momentary pleasure and they're extremely easy to do. Although they give us that momentary pleasure and they're easy to do, in the long run, however, we have to pay a very high price in terms of our physical, emotional, mental and spiritual well-being. Although they give us pleasure and they're easy, God, they really cause a lot of trouble later. On the other hand, the right things, they cause pain in the beginning. They're painful to do. A lot of hard work. They don't come easy. And if we just are willing to bear that initial pain, that initial hard work, that initial discomfort, and that initial could be a long time actually, in the long run, these right things, these right habits pay back a massive premium to us in terms of sustained pleasure, safe pleasure, which has a very high shelf value and it is not at all destructive to our overall sense of well-being. This kind of pleasure coming from the right things, Lord Krishna calls these pleasures in the Bhagavad Gita as sattvic pleasures or pleasures in the mode of goodness. They cause pain in the beginning, discomfort in the beginning, but they pay back a huge premium in terms of sustained high shelf pleasures. On the other hand, Lord Krishna calls this short-term pleasures that come by doing wrong as pleasures in the mode of ignorance or tamasic pleasures. These pleasures are momentarily very exciting, thrilling, exhilarating, and they're easy to go. But in the long run, we have to pay a huge price. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, do not worry so much about what is easy or hard. Worry about what is right and wrong. The right things may be hard, but we should be doing it in our long-term interest. The wrong things may come easy, but we should be avoiding them in our long-term interest. Therefore, even if being polite, sensitive, swift, sportive, kind to others may be hard, even if putting all these things that we've spoken in the last couple of days into practice sounds very hard and difficult, but that's the right thing to do. Ladies and gentlemen, in our transformative journey, we have to worry about the right thing to do, not the easy thing to do. And right things require a lot of hard work. But bit by bit, as we work hard, we can get there. अगर आप जीवन में यशस्वी होना चाहते हो, अगर आप जीवन में सक्सेस प्राप्त करना चाहते हो, तो मेहनत करनी पड़ती है, दृढ़ता से जीना पड़ता है, डिटर्मिनेशन से जीना पड़ता है, धीरज रखना पड़ता है, पेशेंट बनना पड़ता है। और यदि इन सब का पालन भी करो, तब भी कई बार जीवन में चुनौतियां आती है, चैलेंजेस आती है, हम फेल हो जाते हैं, हम गिर जाते हैं और निराश हो जाते हैं। सक्सेस का, यश का सबसे बड़ा शत्रु है निराशा। यदि निराश हो जाओगे तो सब कुछ खो बैठोगे। जब भी निराश हो जाओ ना, तो बस माँ जिराफ को याद कर लेना। जब माँ जिराफ अपने बच्चे को जन्म देती है, तो माता जिराफ बड़ी ऊंची होती है और वो बच्चा ऊंचाई से जोर से जमीन पर गिर जाता है। और जैसे ही बेचारा समझने का प्रयत्न करता है कि मैं कहाँ गिर गया, तब तक वो माँ उस बच्चे के ऊपर खड़ी रहती है और उसको बहुत जोर से लात मारती है। उड़ते हुए बच्चा जाकर कहीं और गिर जाता है और बस अपनी सुध-बुध दोबारा इकट्ठा करने का प्रयत्न करता है। फिर माँ उसके ऊपर आकर खड़ी रहती है और दोबारा एक बड़ी जोर से लात मारती है। बच्चा समझ जाता है कि यदि मैं कुछ न करूं ना, तो लात खाते रहना पड़ेगा। अपने बड़े ही कमजोर पैरों पर खड़े रहने का प्रयत्न करता है वो जिराफ का बच्चा। फिर दोबारा मां आकर उसको लात मारती है, बच्चा फिर गिर जाता है और समझ जाता है कि यदि मैं खड़े रहकर भागूं नहीं, तो बस लात खाते रहना पड़ेगा। जिराफ का ये बच्चा तेजी से भागने का प्रयत्न करता है और तभी मां आकर अपने बच्चे को चूमती है, आलिंगन करती है। मां जिराफ भली भांति जानती है कि जंगल में बड़े खूंखार पशु है, शेर, लोमड़ी इत्यादि, जो नवजात प्राणियों का मांस बड़ा पसंद करते हैं। और माँ जिराफ तो बच्चे के साथ, उस शिशु के साथ हमेशा नहीं रह सकती। तब अगर वो बाहर चली जाए तो इस बच्चे की रक्षा कौन करेगा? इसलिए सबसे पहले जैसे उसका जन्म होता है, उसको लात मारती है ताकि वो उठना सीखे। दोबारा लात मारती है ताकि उसे वो उठने की जो क्रिया है वो याद रहे। दोबारा लात मारती है ताकि केवल उठे नहीं, दौड़ना प्रारंभ करे। जीवन में कई बार चुनौतियां आएंगी, चैलेंजेस आएंगे और हम गिरेंगे, हम फेल होंगे, लेकिन माँ जिराफ और उसके बच्चे को याद कर लेना चाहिए। जब भी चुनौतियां आए, जब भी चैलेंजेस आए, जितनी बार भी आप गिरो, उठना सीखो। उस बच्चे से उठना सीखो, उठ के खड़े रहना सीखो, खड़े रह के भागना सीखो। अगर उठोगे, खड़े रहोगे, भागना सीखोगे, तब यश, सक्सेस के ऊंचे से ऊंचे शिखर पर पहुंचना सीखोगे।
If you want another amazing video highlighting excellence in the Indian community, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.